So the first property is the one that comes from the last comment that I did. So to obtain in the Mohr circle a representative point of the state of a stress on a plane which forms an angle theta with the principal direction sigma 1, what we have to do? Well, according to what we have decided, we have to move to start from the plane which is representative of the sigma 1 of the principal stress state. So sigma equals sigma 1, tau equals 0, that's the representative of this principal stress plane, and move in the same sense that we need to go from sigma 1 to sigma beta in the terms representing the normal of the new plane, twice this angle. And that point is precisely the point of the Mohr circle, which it's representative in the sense that the ordinate of this point is the tangential stress tau beta, and the abscissa of this point is the normal stress sigma beta. The same if the beta, the point is that the sense it means something. So imagine that we want to compute the representative point, the stress state in a plane, and the normal to that plane, well, we can consider that the angle beta is all that, but we can consider that the angle beta is that. So in terms of the angle beta, that would be negative, but we just pay attention to the sense. So for going from sigma 1 to sigma beta, the sense is in the tense clockwise. So in order to find the representative point at the Mohr circle of this stress at this plane, just we start from sigma 1 representative point, and then we move twice this angle, beta prime, in the same sense, And that sigma beta and tau beta are the actual values of the tangential and normal stresses at this plane. First property, okay? So, second property. Of course, what happens if you have two orthogonal planes? So plane A and plane B, which is orthogonal to plane 1. So everyone has the stress state, sigma 8, sigma B, tau A, tau B. Imagine that sigma 1 has that direction, and the angle of that plane is beta. So to obtain the representative point of this plane A in the Mohr circle, what I have to do? Well, starting from the representative point of the first principal stress plane, then I move in that sense twice beta. So this would be the representative point of sigma A tau A. Okay? What about this plane? Well, what is the angle I have to move for going from this to that? Well, beta mass p over 2. So twice this angle is 2 beta plus pi. So the representative point would be by moving from this point an angle which is 2 beta plus pi. So, of course, by construction, this angle is pi, this is 2 beta. This point is the opposite with respect to the center of the Mohr circle to the previous one. So we can conclude the second property. The representative points of two orthogonal planes are opposite with respect to the center of the Mohr circle with each other. Okay? So this provides a first hint for constructing a Mohr circle. Imagine that I have I know the opposite. I know the representative state on two planes, plane A, plane B. This is sigma A tau A, sigma B tau B. So what about that? Imagine that I just have this point. I take sigma A, I move this upside here. I get tau A, which is positive in that case. Why is it positive, by the way? Why this tau A is positive?
Because it's moving clockwise.
Clockwise. So it's positive. Okay. So sigma B would be whatever, okay? Whatever, sigma B. Whatever is sigma B would be that. And tau B, well, there is no other remedy. They would have to be, imagine tau B in that case is positive, so it would be, it's negative, sorry, because it's counterclockwise, okay? So sigma B is that. So I imagine that I only have this and that point. Where is the center? Well, the geometric construction is trivial. In virtue of the previous property, these 2 points will be aligned with the center of the Mohr circle. So by tracing a straight line joining these 2 points, the intersection of this straight line with the sigma axis will provide the center the element, of the Mohr circle. Okay? And once I have the center, okay, well, I know I can trace. Once I have the point, and taking any of these two distances, this is the radius, I can plot, I can draw the Mohr circle. Okay? So having the stress states on two orthogonal planes immediately allows constructing the Mohr circle. Okay? Questions? So, just a specific case. Imagine that we are given the stress tensor. That means sigma x, tau xy, sigma y, in 2D cases, which stands for that. Imagine that they are positive. So take them, all these figures positive. So sigma x and sigma y are positive in tension, negative in compression. Tau xy goes positive in that sense because it's a positive phase, and then it follows the direction of y. And of course, on this, since that's a negative phase, it's the contrary. Okay? So this would be the graphic representation of the stress state in these planes, the plane orthogonal to x, the plane orthogonal to axis y, assuming that all these are positive numbers. Okay? But now let's consider these planes from the point of view of the Mohr circle. So what we're going to do is just take what is the positive in the plane, in the Mohr's plane, the representative point of this plane. Okay, sigma x, according to the Mohr circle criterion, is positive. So sigma x will be, let's take this quantity. Okay? In this plane, tau xy, which is positive according to the tensorial or tensor stress criterion, sign criterion, but about, in terms of the Mohr circle criterion, this is what? This tau xy, this tangential going up is what? Negative, because it turns to turn around the interior in counterclockwise sense. Okay, so that would be something like that. That would be sigma x minus tau xy. Okay, that would be the point representative. What about the plane 2? Plane 2 would have sigma y. Imagine the sigma y is smaller than sigma x. So sigma y is that distance, positive because it's tension. But tau xy now, according to the Mohr circle, is positive because it turns to turn around the interior of the plane clockwise. So it's that distance. And they are equal. The xy is equal due to the symmetry. So anyway, if I obtain this point and that point, where is the center? Joining them, the intersection, that will provide the center. It's a specific case of the previous case. Okay? So they are orthogonal by construction, so the center is here, and after that I can construct the Mohr circle. And with that, we can reconstruct some formulas that we obtained previously analytically, just as a checking. For instance, look, if this is sigma x, tau xy, tau x is sigma y, then we construct the corresponding Mohr circle. What are the principal stresses? Well, or what is that's called about principal stresses. Well, by construction, the radius, that radius here, is that distance with the half point, since C is the half points of sigma 1, sigma 2, is also the half point of sigma x, which is that distance, and sigma y, which is that distance. So that distance here is sigma x minus sigma y divided by 2. That is that distance, right? And what is that distance? Well, that distance is minus tau xy in that case. So what is the radius? Using the Pythagoras theorem, then, of course, the radius of the circle is sigma x minus sigma y over 2 squared plus tau xy squared. Okay? And then, how much is sigma 1? Well, to arrive to sigma 1, I just take this distance, which by construction is sigma x plus sigma y divided by 2, and I just add the radius. So this is this formula. And to get sigma 2, I start from this point, which is A, which is sigma x plus sigma y divided by 2, and I subtract the radius. So this is the formulas. Sigma 1 equal to this, sigma 2 equal to this. These are precisely the formulas that we obtained analytically some slides ago about the sigma 1 and sigma 2 stresses. It's just a checking that everything is fine. But just now supporting these formulas, not on change of sign equations, but only analytical equations, but only on graphical constructions, on the graphical construction of the Mohr circle.